Hey guys, it is me Jack. For today's video, I have my May wrap-up and my June TBR. I read a total of 13 books this month, and I have a total of 3 books planned for the month of June, I'm pretty positive. But anyway, let's get on to my May wrap-up. So the first book I read for the month of May was A Court of Mist and Fury, and this is by Sarah J. Maas. If you guys have not been following me on any social medias or specifically Goodreads, you might not know actually I read this book in one sitting. I read this book the day it came out. I bought the Kindle book on my iPad and I just read it and I couldn't stop. It is like a 600-page book. It is massive and I couldn't help myself. So I read it in one sitting. I don't regret it. I absolutely love this book. Definitely one of my favorites of this year. I was so impressed by it. I would highly recommend it. I think it's 10 times better than the first one. I have a whole entire review on my channel, which I will leave on the screen as well as down below. But y'all, this book was amazing, and Reese is my baby, okay? He has easily become like my top book boyfriend. After that, it was Ripsat, aka the Read Your Bookshelf-a-thon, so I participated and I read a total of 3 books. I read 3 Amy Harmon books, and I cannot recommend her books enough. All of these books are 5 to 5 stars. I've already read this one, which was Making Faces by Amy Harmon, last year, and I was blown away by it, and that's why I decided to pick up 2 more of her books, because I absolutely love her writing and her characters, and this was one of my favorite books of last year. So I was like, you know what, I want to reread it, and I want to actually read 2 more of her other books. So the 2 books I did read by her is A Different Blue, and this one is The Law of Moses. I'm just sort of flabbergasted over the fact not many people know about Amy Harmon. Well, I know a lot of people do know about Amy Harmon, let me correct myself, but I find that I haven't really seen anyone talk about Amy Harmon on BookTube, which is crazy because her books are beautiful. If you enjoy Colleen Hoover, if you enjoy new adult books, highly recommend, because honestly, I would find that she is very similar to Colleen Hoover, just because I get the same feelings I get when I read a Colleen Hoover book, when I read one of her books. They give me that emotional attachment. I find I absolutely love these characters. I fly through these books. I just absolutely adore her works, and I'm just so impressed by her writing and everything like that, and I actually want to pick up more of her books because I absolutely love these 3 so much. The next book I picked up was The Neverland Wars, and this is by Audrey Greathouse. I was sent this book by Clean Teen Publishing in exchange for an honest review because I was a host, a part of BookTube Tours. I will leave more information down below in the description box for BookTube Tours if you don't know what it is about. But I have a whole entire review up on my channel for this book, which I will leave on the screen as well as down below. And I did actually like this book. I gave it a 3 to 5 stars. You guys know I absolutely love Peter Pan retellings, so I was very, very excited to pick this up. I did like it. Like I said, I love the whole Peter Pan retelling factor, but I found the fact that it is titled Neverland Wars to be sort of deceiving, because I found that we didn't get a lot of the Neverland Wars. I got a little bit of clarification because it's the first book in a series, so maybe we'll get more of that Neverland Wars as more books come out. I'm definitely into reading on because I actually really enjoyed the writing style. But like I said, I was sort of disappointed in the fact there wasn't a lot of the Neverland Wars, and the title of the book is The Neverland Wars. But more information about this book is on that book review. After that, I picked up Highly Illogical Behavior, and this is by John Corey Whaley. I was sent this book by Penguin Random House in exchange for an honest review. I actually have another review video for this book. I will leave that on the screen as well as down below. I was highly impressed by this novel. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. This is actually the first book I read by John Corey Whaley, and I would definitely recommend it. I read it in one sitting. I found that it was really interesting because this year I actually took an intro to psychology class, and this is a book that deals with mental illness and the fact the main character, or one of the main characters, is actually suffering with agoraphobia, and the other main character wants to get into a psychology school, and she's sort of going to use the other main character who has agoraphobia to get into that psychology school. So I found the fact that I took that class sort of as a good buffer because I understood the mental illness of agoraphobia more, and that helped me sort of process this book. But if you don't really know anything about agoraphobia, you can definitely go into this book completely blind, because John Corey Whaley sort of handled that factor so incredibly well and depicted it so realistically, and that's something I very much appreciated. So like I said, I would definitely recommend picking this up because I was so impressed by it. I do have a whole entire review up on my channel if you would like to hear more about it. The next couple books I got to read are all part of the same Dream series. This is the first series I read, a part of the series summer I have going on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is basically part of my summer reading plans, in which I'm trying to read as many series as I can, and I posted sort of what series summer is about in my TBR pile, and this series is one of the ones I badly wanted to reread, and that is the Shadowfall series by C.C. Hunter. The first time I read this series was all the way back in 2013, so I loved the fact I got to reread them this month, and I will have a whole entire review up on my channel for this series sometime next week. It is a very fun paranormal series. It's definitely young adult, but the first 4 books a part of this series I gave a 4 to 5 stars, and then the last book, which is Chosen at Nightfall, I gave a 5 to 5 stars. The next book I read was How to Hang a Witch, and this is by Adriana Mather. This book actually doesn't come out until July 26, 2016. I will have a separate review video when it is closer to that release date, but I do have to say I did very much enjoy this book. I read it in 2 sittings. I gave it a 3.5 to 5 stars. It is a YA paranormal book. It involves witches and ghosts. It's really cool. I think the thing I loved most about this book is the fact that Adriana Mather took her family history and she twisted it and made it into this book, which I thought was very interesting. She's a debut author and I love supporting debut authors, so I definitely recommend checking this book out when it does come out, and like I said, I will have a review video closer to the release date if you want to know more about my thoughts. The next book I have is Sleepless in Manhattan, and this is by Sarah Morgan. I got this because Harlequin sent it my way because I am a host, a part of BookTube Tours. So I read this and I actually just posted my review video for it, so I will leave that on the screen as well as down below. Now, this is a adult romance novel. I gave it a 4 to 5 stars. I flew through this book. I actually really appreciated this book because I sort of felt like I was in a little bit of a reading slump, and this sort of pulled me out of that reading slump. So just when I needed. If you are into adult romance novels, I would definitely recommend picking this one up. The last book I read during the month of May was The Curse of the Sphinx. I gave this a 2 out of 5 stars. I just thought it was okay. I didn't really like the characters. I thought this was sort of boring for me. I liked the whole mythology aspect and the twist it had, but it wasn't something I was completely into, and for me personally, I'm not going to continue on with this series. So this was a little bit of a disappointment because I had heard some good things from other booktubers, but I just didn't personally enjoy it as much as I thought I would. So those are all the books I read during the month of May. Let's get on to my June TBR pile. The first book a part of my June TBR is American Girls. This is actually a book that's coming out in June. I was sent this book by Trisha over at Flatiron Books, so thank you so much, Trisha, for sending this book my way. I'm actually really excited to read this book. I've read some great reviews. This is actually a debut author, so I'm very excited to read it myself, and I will have a review up on my channel sometime this month when I do get to this book. The next book I have is Dating an Alien Pop Star, and this is by Kendra L. Saunders. This is another book I got because of BookTube Tours. Yet again, all information is down below. I just want to thank Clean Teen Publishing so much for sending this book my way. Now, I'm very excited to read this book because it's about aliens, it's like a pop star thing, and those are 2 things I absolutely love. A lot of people told me it reminded them sort of the Lux series with how easy and fun it is to read, and y'all know I love the Lux series, so I'm very excited to pick this one up. I will have a review up actually on the date this book comes out, which is June 7th, I believe, so look out for that. And it's actually going to be the first book I pick up this month. The final book I am planning on reading is Sleeping Tom, and this is by E.V. Fairfall. I didn't get to read this in the month of May, so obviously I'm going to read it this month, and I will have a review up on my channel whenever I do get to this book, so definitely look forward to that. So that was my May wrap-up and my June TBR. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of the books I mentioned and what books you read during the month of May and what books you are planning on reading during the month of June. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!